This presentation is on the topic of homeless adults and minors and the cultural environment and health disparities that affect this vulnerable population. And it's by Riley and Caitlin. So the media portrays the homeless population as dirty, unattractive, undesirable, with no education and no job. They can criminalize or victimize the homeless population. And this portrayal is inaccurate because homeless people become homeless for a diverse amount of reasons, and stereotyping can lead to a misunderstanding of this population. So, a lack of family support is a risk factor for homelessness. Conflicts within the family can be cause of homelessness as well. So, this could be parent or child disagreements over choices or identity, as well as domestic violence. In a functional family where all needs are being met, the risk for homelessness is low. So peers can have a mixed impact on this population. Some peers may ostracize the homeless individual due to stigmas and stereotyping. Other peers may enable this population through encouraging drug use or other risky behaviors. So, formal peer support has been shown to benefit those who are homeless and helping them overcome this. So the homeless population, it seems to be cyclic in nature. So children who grow up with parents who are homeless are at a greater risk of having continual homelessness in their own adulthood. And then these cycles tend to have times where their homelessness is exacerbated or better, or more stable. This could be for a variety of different reasons, including addiction, mental health problems, family conflict, or a loss of a job. So, the current political system helps homeless individuals by investing in more affordable housing, decriminalizing homelessness, providing funding for homeless-centered organizations. It hinders the homeless population by arresting or jailing homeless individuals, withholding funding for homeless-centered organizations, and not providing the necessary resources and emergency shelters that this population needs. Laws regarding homelessness vary between local, state, and federal levels. In some places, homeless individuals may be arrested for sleeping on the streets. And then there is some legislature which gives incentives to state and local communities through reimbursements on any expenditures that the state or local communities have spent on homeless resource centers. So that's a positive way that the political system can help encourage the financial supporting of these homeless resource centers. So, potential barriers. There are multiple barriers that make this population more vulnerable within the larger community. These include social stigmas. This isolates the population from the general population. Homelessness also seems to be a taboo topic. It stops the public from discussing the issue and stops some individuals about to face homelessness from seeking help. And then also cultural beliefs. Stereotypes can be best passed down through cultures regarding the homeless population. So, in most areas of the world, the dangers of homelessness include a higher risk of becoming a victim of crime. They are also 17 times more likely to have been a victim of violence in the past year. Nearly 1 in 4 homeless women have been sexually assaulted. And there's an increased risk of developing a problem with drugs and alcohol. So, throughout the world, homeless individuals also face discrimination from being outside of the cultural norms. Socioeconomic status is practically a definition for homelessness for adults. Those with low socioeconomic status are at a greater risk for homelessness. Some teens may find themselves homeless even if they come from a family that is socioeconomically stable, and this could be due to family conflicts. Statistics suggest that racial inequality does play a role in homelessness. African Americans make up more than 40% of the homeless population, despite the fact that they only represent 13% of the general population. Hispanics also make up 21% of the homeless population and only 18% of the general population. Those of mixed race make up less than 5% of the general population, but more than double their share of the homeless population. Whites and Asians are significantly underrepresented in the homeless population. Religion. There is some evidence to suggest that lack of connection to a church or religious community increases the risk of becoming homeless. There are also some claims about religion and its negative impact on family dynamics. This is specifically for the LGBTQ teens, which leads to family conflict and homelessness in these teens. Gender. The biggest health outcome that is unequal between the two genders is life expectancy. According to research, the mean age of death for homeless men is 48, and for homeless women is even lower at 43 years. Although both genders experience an increase in acute infections and conditions, as well as worsening of chronic health conditions. Those who are homeless that live in urban areas often have increased access to healthcare services compared to their rural living counterparts. In urban areas, there are often more hospitals, clinics, medical offices, and urgent care facilities. These are often in a closer proximity to the homeless individual as well. Telehealth and telemedicine advancements could help bridge this gap in care. If the homeless individual gains access to a phone, they can open the door to more healthcare options via this method. Implicit biases are stereotypes that are subconscious and unknown by the person who has them. So, a study found that people feel human emotions with a much greater ease for people from non-stigmatized groups than for human beings who have been deemed socially unacceptable. This is such as the homeless. In this study, there was no indication that the participants even knew that they had encoded homeless people as less than human. And then explicit biases refer to the stereotypes that are conscious. The person who has them is aware. And research shows that public displays of panhandling, sleeping on the street, and other survival behaviors intensify negative stigmas by triggering the emotional reactions of guilt, shame, and disgust on the part of the observer. Thus, in an attempt to avoid these emotions, the general public often increases their social distance from homeless individuals, which can help to worsen the problem. So, in colder climates, the homeless population is at risk for hypothermia, frostbite, or even death. In warmer climates, they have a risk of heat stroke, dehydration, extreme sunburns, and an increased risk of skin cancer. There are regions in the world where these health disparities would have less of an effect on the health of the homeless, and these are areas that have moderate climates, which would put the individual at decreased risk for these above complications. And then here are the references for all the information that we found. And I just want to say that I hope everyone and their families are healthy and happy during this time. And I wish you all the best.